The sound in this video was processed by iZotope. In this video, 45 different 9V adapters for guitar pedals compared and tested. We'll set some ground rules, find out the differences between different types of power supplies, measure the weight, and of course check how much noise these adapters produce. And it's all coming up right now. Hello everyone, here is Max, and this is going to be a very nerdy and boring video. I will be comparing and testing 45 different power supplies, or adapters to be exact. This video was filmed in my hotel room during Thomann University 2018. And I have to say, this was the only way I could possibly do something like this, simply because I couldn't get this many power supplies from anywhere else but Thomann. So a big thanks goes to Thomann and its employees for being very patient with me and providing every single power supply they had in stock for this test. I also have to thank my friends from Just Music and Music Productive for providing some more power supplies I couldn't find in Thomann. The title of this video says 45 power supplies, but actually there were more. Some of them got disqualified. So let's talk about the ground rules real quick. There are hundreds of different power supplies and it would be impossible to cover them all in one video. So for this one, let's call it episode 1, I've decided to go with what is called wallward adapters. That's gonna be rule number 1. These power supplies are very common and sometimes when you buy a pedal, this kind of adapter will be included. Rule number 2, the power supply must have a single center-negative 9V output. Not 12, not 18 or 24, but 9. And yeah, center-negative because this is the most common power supply you would normally need for pretty much any standard pedal. As a result, we've got about 50 or 60 power supplies which are available on the European market and fit these criteria. Some of those are really rare and hard to find, others are out of stock, so we're down to 45. All of them but one were listed at music stores' websites as power supplies specifically for pedals. But as you will see later in this video, many of those have nothing to do with this definition. The process of choosing a power supply is pretty much always a compromise between the following 4 factors. Weight. Yeah, some of those are pretty heavy. Amperage. The higher it is, the more pedals you can power up with it. Noise. Some pedals, especially drives and distortions, may be very sensitive to this factor. And of course, the price, which I don't need to explain. Generally, there are 2 groups of power supplies. Linear power supplies, transformer-based, those are normally pretty big and heavy, and they usually have a lower amperage than the second group, switch-in-mode power supplies, which can be very small and light-weighted. They are a little bit more sophisticated, but they are also noisier than the linear ones. I would also put switch-in power supplies into 2 subgroups, single voltage and multiple voltage adapters. The latter ones are able to provide anything from 3 to, 18 volts or something. The reason why I put them into different subgroups is because they are a little bit different inside. Let's take a closer look, and by that I of course mean let's open them and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so this is a typical linear power supply. You can see a huge transformer, a couple of caps, but other than that there are just a few more parts. It is very simple. And this is a very common, made in China, switch-in mode adapter. It is obviously way more complex and it even has some SMD parts on the other side of the board. And finally, let's take a look at a power supply with a voltage selector. This one goes from 3 to 12 volts. And even though it looks very similar to the previous one, if you look carefully, you'll find some differences. Like, this one has only one tiny transformer instead of 2, but there are more differences you can find. Well, there is a good reason why adapters are completely sealed or use non-standard screws. Manufacturers simply don't want you to open them and mess around because this may be dangerous. Now that you've seen what's inside, don't try this at home. Right now, you can see that some of these adapters are significantly heavier than the others. Judging by weight and size, you can already guess which ones are the linear power supplies. But I will also give you a PDF file with all test results and you will find a link to it in the description to this video. You'll also find out that pretty much every power supply has 3 different titles, so to speak. First of all, its name in the store, and then the actual manufacturer and the actual model. For example, Strymon 9V DC adapter is actually made by Damage Control Engineering and its model number is YJ01 blah 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 blah. Turns out it's not the only power supply on the list made by Damage Control Engineering. There is one more with exactly the same model name but branded as Truetone EU power supply. Oops. And guess what? They are not the same price. This generally happens because, with a few rare exceptions, guitar gear manufacturers usually don't bother producing their own power supplies. Instead, they order them from some random Chinese factory. It looks like often there is no quality control whatsoever. As a result, most 9-volt adapters you will find on the market today suck. With that said, here is the top 10 for the way in. And now it's time for the nerdiest part. We'll see how many of you will make it to the end.
Well, now we'll be listening to the noise power supplies produce. They'll be connected to the magic bus detector, which is nothing else but a load box for power supplies. There's also a capacitor inside, so DC is getting cut and only the noise goes through. By turning this thing, I can choose the load for power supply. We will be measuring the voltage and amperage. Well, let me show you how it works. The first power supply is going to be Zoom AD-16F. It's supposed to give you 500 milliamps, but it has a British plug, so I'll be using an adapter like this. I'll plug the power supply into the bus detector, and now I can turn on the preamp. So the noise level right now is about minus 48 dBs, as you can see. But if I turn on the power, and the current noise level is about minus 5.7. The load box is turned off now. If I turn it on, everything changes. The current load is 80 milliamps. And this is going to be the minimal load. So it is now at minus 8.9, 8.89, so that's the voltage. Now let's turn this thing up to 500 milliamps. As soon as we see 500 milliamps here, I will stop. So this is going to be the maximum load. The noise level is at minus 6.1. But the voltage is getting better. Very well, let's go to the next one. This is going to be Electro Harmonix with 500 milliamps, but this is a linear power supply, transformer based, not the switching kind of thing that we just tested. So it's supposed to sound differently. Right, 17 and 7. So we've got 14 volts here. So let's turn this on. Now we're talking. Ooh, that's what switching adapter sounds like. Okay, let's turn on the load. It's getting better and better. It'll be 1500, so let's go up to 1500. Alright, so at some point that high frequency noise goes away and returns. To 5.6. Oh, look, that's good. Let's put some load on. It's doing really well. With some load, oh, the noise goes away. If I overload this power supply, at some point it just stops working. Noisy. 660. Oh, that's really good. Okay, with load, still really good. It's pretty stable, minus 17.2. It's noisy. Okay, let's turn the load on.
We'll go up to 500.
It's worse than the other more. Let's turn the load on. 7.7, 5.5, and it goes to 1100, 6.5. Wow, it's noisy. Minus
up to 1300.
Okay, this is gonna be interesting because this is supposed to be one of the best power supplies. At least all the magazines say so. And all the online sources. So we're gonna find out right now. Minus 13.9. Well, not bad indeed. Okay, let's turn the heat up. So it's getting better. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Especially for a switching power supply. Morley. This is a linear power supply. This is really good. Load.
To 300 milliamps.
So there's no real headroom here. It's not bad. It has some weird frequencies there. It's getting better.
Up to 500.
Ah, it's getting worse. Okay. Ooh. It's very noisy. With load. Ooh. Pretty noisy. Ooh.
Let's go up to 1300. Not so much.
Look at this. Disgusting. It's 73. Oh, it's getting worse. It's the best result so far. Okay, now we're talking. Oh, terrible. With load.
Oh, similar current, so 300 milliamps.
Here we go. Really bad actually. Yeah, this is really bad, man. Getting better actually. Sorry, but it could be better. Ooh. And it's still pretty bad. This is really good. Turn on the load. Oh, it doesn't really do real 200. It's better than many others. Some load. No, it's bad. Okay, now it works better. Not bad. Good. And with load? Okay, something like this. Oh, it's terrible. Minimal load. Absolutely terrible.
Goes up to 1000 milliamps.
Well, that's better actually. Oh, well, it's... Okay, what about loads? I wouldn't recommend this one. It's not bad. Lowered. Now we go up to 500. 5.5. It's different. With lowered.
And 500 milliamps.
And 6.7. This is not good at all.
And 500 milliamps.
Look at this. Is this the best result so far? It is. Minus 26.3. It's still really quiet. Minus 26.1. Okay, now there's a little bit more, but still really good. 27.3. Some load. Oh, it's doing well.
400 milliamps.
Oh, and it's doing good. Terrible.
Good.
And it's doing better. It's better than the other one. No, it's bad. Something like this. This one is really noisy, with some load. Shit, it's really bad. And here's another power supply I've got from a department store with switchable voltage. I think it's gonna be really bad, but let's listen to it. It's not meant for pedals in any way. Yeah, you can hear that immediately. Probably it's the worst one. Okay, and with load, oh, it's terrible. And let's go up to 600. Yeah, just like many others, it works okay-ish at the maximum load. I don't recommend this. It's just like the other one we just tested. Yeah. Yep. And it's really good. Okay, how about now? It could be better for linear power supply. Apparently it's limit, and it's noisiest with lowered. It's a little better. Sounds terrible. Good at paddles, but they are not good at power supplies for sure. Yeah, sounds like this. Sounds so sad. With some load. Ooh, it's terrible. Yeah, sounds like this. I didn't see this coming. Okay. It's still doing good. Look at this. And it's still pretty quiet. Wow, it's unbelievable. It's not bad. Okay, with load. This is really good. It's pretty good.
And here's the top 10 for the noise test. Congratulations, you've made it to the end. If you're still watching, write "brick of sorrow" in the comments. I believe you have already figured out that those multiple voltage power supplies are not meant for pedals, like at all. Still, many online stores are listing them as adapters for pedals, which is wrong. There are also many adapters which are simply bad. Don't forget to check the PDF file. Inside you will find all the test results, prices, stores where you can get these power supplies, and more. If everything goes well, I will be updating that file by adding more information and results on more power supplies as they go through my hands. Once again, thanks to Thomann and everyone else who made this video possible. As I mentioned, this is the episode 1, which means it may be continued. And you are very welcome to give me some crazy ideas for that in the comments below.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button right there, and don't forget about the bell button to get notifications every time I'm posting a new video. A special thanks goes to people in the list below. Those are my patrons. If you want to say thanks, hit the button on the left and join the list. Well, that's it for now. Have a good day and I'll see you soon.